Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about why the psychology of women seeking sexual pleasure is unhealthy. In today's world, saying that women who enjoy sex are unhealthy is going to cause a lot of controversy. This is because most people think about women and sex in terms of feminist and gender equality logic. So you will hear a lot of people say, why shouldn't women enjoy sex but only men? Both adult men and adult women have the right to enjoy sex, but sex is a very polarizing energy, and when it's used for good, it's a powerful force for happiness for both men and women, and when it is used for harm, it's a powerful force for destroying happiness for both men and women, ruining bodies and ruining lives. To harness the energy of sex for good, we need to understand its exact mechanism and essence before we can enjoy it. Once this is clear, we can create happiness energy through activating sexuality without limit. Women who seek sexual pleasure having a distorted concept in a distorted environment where sexuality is interpreted only in terms of pleasure and love will develop serious psychological problems and lead a destructive life. Sexuality is actually more important for women than for men, because through the work of the zest mind, women create happiness in the heart, and men's sexuality works to protect and support this, but now it is distorted into the opposite concept as if sexuality is very important for men, and women's sexuality is to support it, so both women and men are destroyed. Men cannot use the energy of their zest mind to generate feelings of happiness in their hearts, and their sexuality only works in conjunction with their bodies. Men only utilize their sexuality as a source of temporary positive mood energy. Men's minds are not for generating feelings like women's, but rather they are minds of ideas connected with facts that make men experience temporary moods of pleasure or pain. Women's zest mind works to generate feelings of happiness, so it has a direct connection to a woman's psychological wounds. The bigger and deeper a woman's wounds are, the harder it is for her to repair them with her mind alone, making her zest mind begin to work. There are women who have deep wounds that are activated, and then there are women who have wound dissociation, where the wound is so deep that it's covered over. They both try to activate their sexuality so they are sexually expressive, but the woman with the deep wound is sexually expressive because she doesn't want to hurt. And the woman with wound dissociation is sexually expressive because she wants pleasure. Women try to activate their sexuality. They may have plastic surgery or genital surgery. They may train themselves to increase sexual sensitivity, or they may go to classes to learn about the art of sex. The original reason for women to activate their sexuality was to create feelings of happiness by repairing wounds of their heart, and their zest mind should only work for their own heart. However, when they have sex based on sexual desire that is rooted in wounds, the energy that should be working on their own heart is expressed to the other person, and the temporary positive sensations perceived through the sensory organs make them think that the partner has created happiness for them, and they mistake this for love. Over and over again, instead of trying to repair the wound directly from their mind, they rely on the pleasure of the senses to create a temporary positive moods. Eventually, she no longer needs the work of her mind, and the standards and notions of relationships, habits of control, and systems that create feelings of maternal love and happiness that were originally created in her unconscious mind are all broken. As a result, these women are no longer able to live a normal human life because they have abandoned the concept of being happy with other people and have come to believe that the pleasure of sex is happiness, or that any man who gives them sex loves them. If a woman's sexuality is triggered by her wounds and she is constantly wanting to express her sexuality, she needs to heal her wounds and stabilize her psychology before anything. Men's sexuality is not connected to emotional wounds, but it is connected to the body, and excessive activation of sexuality leads to physical problems and sexual dysfunction in men. Men's sexuality is meant to create feelings of happiness in women, to protect women and make women happy, and to generate achievement and passion in men. When men use sex solely for their own pleasure, they end up using women as a means of pleasure, and this creates a vicious cycle that leads to breakdowns of both men and women. The result of this vicious cycle is that the happiness of the mankind is lost, and we live in an environment where we compete and confront each other solely for individuals' pleasure and satisfaction. The concept of family becomes unnecessary, and societies and nations exist solely for the survival of the individual. The emotionless humanity we see in science fiction movies is not just fiction. We should never take sexuality lightly. Sexuality should be activated between two people who love each other, for women for their own happiness, and for men to create and protect it. It's for life's sake, and this is not some outdated idea, but an interpretation based on the theory of my mind and Z's mind. If you are not sure what you are really talking about, it's better to live in an outdated way of thinking about sexuality, taking it seriously and conservatively, and protect yourself and your loved ones.